And then I'm going to present. Okay. You probably need to turn your mics on because you need to answer some questions. You guys can see this, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, let's start. This is the skin, the integumentary system. All right, so here we go. Which layer of the skin has no blood vessels?
Epidermis.
Epidermis.
Epidermis, exactly. Epidermis has no blood vessels. All right, that's important. Which layer is not part of your skin?
Hypodermis.
Epidermis.
Hypodermis. Good. I would never ask you this question. The skin makes up what percentage of body weight in the average adult? I don't care if you know the answer, but the answer is 7%. I'll never ask that question. All of the following contribute to skin color except
Keratin.
keratin. That is correct. All the others have skin color. This layer of the skin is responsible for fingerprints.
Epidermis.
Epidermis.
Who said, would you say hypodermis?
Epidermis.
Uh-huh. I'm waiting for the right answer.
Papillary dermis.
That's the right answer. Okay? Papillary dermis is the fingerprints. All right? Mitosis occurs primarily in which stratum of the epidermis?
A.
Lucum.
A.
A.
Basal.
A is correct. Basali. That's where all the cells are made. All the cells are made right there. Good answer. What protein gives the epidermis its protective properties?
C.
Keratin, correct. Very good. Very good. What cells in the epidermis are the key activators of the immune system? We didn't really talk about this too much, and I don't think I would ask this question. But the answer is C, dendritic cells, because they are macrophages. All right. Dogs track humans by the scent of epithelial cells that are constantly being shed. These cells shed from which stratum?
B.
C. B.
Why is B the correct answer?
It's the most superficial.
Exactly. That is exactly correct. Very well done. Very well done. In which layer of the epidermis would you expect to find the healthiest cells?
A.
Basali.
Boom. Correct. Brand new. Okay. The dermis is composed of what type of tissue?
Epithelial.
We're talking about the dermis here, not the epidermis.
B.
Connective tissue. All right? Connective tissue. Which of the following is not associated with the dermis?
Keratin.
Keratin is the answer. I like that. That was good. That was good. Which layer of the dermis is composed of dense, irregular connective tissue? I would not ask this question in this form, but you should probably know the answer.
I think. Is it D?
Let's see. It's reticular layer. I would never ask the question. Don't worry about it. Which layer of the dermis is closest to the epidermis? Aha.
That's
B.
B, C.
B.
Okay, let me tell you something right now. Why is A and B totally out?
Because they are the layers of the epidermis.
That is correct. They are the epidermis. So you have two choices. You have papillary and reticular.
It's C.
Okay? Papillary. All right? C. You're right. Peg-like folds of the superficial layer of the dermis are called dermal.
Ridges.
I thought they were flexures.
What if I told you they were in the papillary area?
Papillary?
Would it be B then?
Nice.
B.
B. Got it?
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
Sudoriferous glands are also known as
Sweat.
C.
sweat. The answer is sweat. Sweat glands. Sweat glands. All right. What is sweat mostly composed of?
Water.
Bingo. Water. The sweat glands that are important in body temperature regulation are the blank glands. You only have two choices here.
A.
Say it again.
A.
A, eccrine. Your only choices are A and B.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go over this. Let's go over this. Where are these glands?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Where do you have cerumen?
Ear.
Ear. It's earwax. This is earwax. All right. And what are sebaceous glands? What are they?
Oil glands.
Oil glands. So your only choices are A and B. And where do you find the apocrine glands?
Your, well, your armpit and down there.
Yeah, in your genitals. Right, exactly. So the only choice is right here. And the answer is A. Okay, got it?
Mhm.
All right. This gland found in the skin is also a holocrine gland.
Sudoriferous.
Let me ask you this question. What does this mean? You learned this. What does that mean? It means that it explodes. It explodes and lets out all of its contents. Which of these glands lets out all of its contents into ducts?
Sebaceous.
Sebaceous.
Bingo. Sebaceous. All right, got it? Okay, let's go. Which of the following is not an accessory gland of the skin?
C.
Mammary.
Oh, the skin B?
The answer is D. All of them are accessory glands of the skin. All of them are accessory glands. Okay, got it?
How are the mammary glands an accessory?
Because they're modified sweat glands. They give out milk. They give out milk. So they're modified sweat glands. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hair and nails are modifications of
A.
Dermis?
somebody said dermis, somebody said epidermis. What's the answer?
None of the above.
Somebody said none of the above. What's the answer?
Dermis.
The answer is epidermis.
Huh.
Okay? The answer is epidermis. It's part of your superficial skin. That's what it is. Hair and nails, okay? The protein found in our hair and nails is
D.
D.
did you say B or D?
Keratin.
Keratin. Thank you. Keratin. Good. Good. The smooth, oh, you don't know, we didn't talk about this, but it's an interesting question. The smooth muscle associated with the hair follicle, otherwise known as goosebumps, is A, erecti pili. Okay, that's it. All of the following are associated with hair, except, remember, I didn't really want you to remember hair, so it's not important, but it is lanule. That's in the nail. That's in the nail. All right. Which of the following is not associated with nails?
D.
D, medulla.
Medulla.
That is correct. Good. Final question. When people gain weight, they often gain inches due to the accumulation of fat in which layer?
Hypodermic.
Hypo.
Hypodermis.
Hypodermis. Good, good. So those are the type of questions I would ask you on the integumentary system, okay? So let's go to the bones and skeletal tissue. All right? At any time, if you don't understand a question, please stop and we'll talk about it. All right? Here we go. The scapulae are considered part of the blank skeleton.
Appendicular.
C.
You only have two choices here. You only have two choices. And the choices are A and C.
C.
Yeah.
C, appendicular.
Appendicular, okay? It's part of your limbs. That's why it's appendicular.
Oh.
The scapula is classified as a blank bone.
C.
Irregular.
Flat, it's flat, flat bone. It's a big bone and flat bone. Bones that form within tendons are classified as
C.
C,
Sesamoid.
sesamoid bones. Sesamoid bones. Okay? An example of an axial bone is the
Sternum.
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 sternum. Correct. Phalanges are classified as blank bones.
Long.
B.
Be
Short.
long. No, they're long. They're longer than they are wide. So it is a long bone. That's your fingers. Your fingers. All right. The structural unit of compact bone is the
Osteon.
B.
B.
oh, not B. It's A. A.
B.
Osteocyte is a cell. It's not a structural unit. Okay, it's a main. Osteocytes maintain compact bone, but osteon is the structural unit of compact bone. Osteocytes are found in
A.
what's another word for cavity?
Oh, B.
C.
What's another word for cavity?
C. Lacunae.
C. Lacunae. All right, that's where the osteocytes are, in the cavities. What anchors the periosteum to the underlying bone? I would never ask this question.
Was it B?
No, the answer is D, perforate. I would never ask this question. What is the periosteum? Somebody tell me what the periosteum is.
It's the outside layer of spongy bone.
It's the outside layer of spongy bone. You are correct. Okay, it is the membrane that is around spongy bone. Okay. I would never ask you this question either. Central canals are connected to each other by
Funicular. Canal.
C.
Perforating canal. I would never ask that question. Not important. Not important. In bone, collagen is found in, I would never ask this question either. It's the lamellae. I would never ask that question. I would ask this question though. The shaft of a long bone is called
Diaphysis.
B.
diaphysis. Diaphysis. All right. The membrane that covers most of the outer surface of a long bone is
D.
the periosteum. All right. What part of a long bone are you studying if you are looking at the articular cartilage?
Oh, the B.
B is correct. You are correct. What does
can you
articular
explain
cartilage mean? What does this mean?
Highland
Artic-
cartilage?
Yeah, well, it is hyaline cartilage, but articular cartilage means it connects at a joint to another bone. So the answer is the epiphysis. Okay, hyaline cartilage. You are correct. Which of the following would not be found in the long bone of a 30-year-old adult?
D.
D.
D, epiphyseal plate, because it closes at puberty. So you won't have it. You'll have an epiphyseal line, not an epiphyseal plate. Okay? Spongy bone is made up of small, flat pieces of bone called, wow,
D.
D, trabeculi. Which of the following is not a bone projection? I will not ask you this question. Okay? This is a projection. This is a projection. This is a projection. The word meatus means whole. So it's not a projection. Whole. I would never ask you that question. Remember, there's only a few things I wanted you to know about those names. Which bone marking would most likely be part of a joint? I will not ask this question either, and the answer is condyle. The bone cell that produces the bony matrix in a developing bone is the
Osteocyte.
D.
which one builds bone?
Glass. Osteoblast.
Blast.
Osteoblast. B as in build. Builder. It's a builder. It's a builder. Okay? That's important. The primary ossification center of a long bone is found in the
Diaphysis.
somebody said diaphysis.
Maybe not.
Let's see.
Oh,
That's
okay.
it. Very good. All right. Which of the following structure plays an important role in the widening of long bones? It's a hard question, actually.
Is it
And
the
the
mental?
And the answer is periosteum. All right.
Why would it be periosteum?
Because it covers the entire bone and the bone widens. As the bone widens, the periosteum nourishes the bone. Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. The epiphyseal plate is not the right answer because that's in bone lengthening, not widening. All right. And the articular cartilage is meaningless because all that is it just is at a joint and the medullary cavity just holds the bloodstream. So the periosteum is the widening of the bone. All right? A vitamin that is important for calcium absorption in the intestine is
C.
C, vitamin D. Vitamin D. You don't know this answer. Which disease is often discovered by accident when X-ray films are taken and causes a spotty weakening of bone? The answer is Paget's disease. We never talked about it. We talked about osteoporosis, we talked about osteomalacia, and we talked about rickets. So those are not the answer. The answer is Paget's disease. I would never ask this question. All right? It's such a rare disease anyway. Newly produced bone matrix that has not yet been mineralized is called, it's a horrible question. You won't know the answer. The answer is osteoid seam. Never ask that question. Which of the following is not a stage of bone repair?
C.
C, bone collar formation. Very good. Which of the following is a risk factor for osteoporosis? Wow. This is a horrible question. The answer is A, but I would never ask that question. No. And I would never ask this question either. Compact bone is replaced every 10 years. All right. Any questions on that? Let's go over the skeleton. The cranial bones. Which of the following is not a cranial bone?
Maxilla.
You are correct. It's a facial bone. That is correct. All right. This suture between the parietal and temporal bones is the blank bone. Suture, sorry.
Sagittal.
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 Oh, it's not sagittal. It's not sagittal.
Is it the squamous?
Prolapsum.
We got coronal, we got squamous. The answer is squamous. Know the sutures. Don't forget to know the sutures. Okay, the sagittal suture is between both parietal bones. Okay, so know the sutures. Know the sutures.
Squamous, yeah.
The mastoid process belongs to which bone?
Temporal.
Temporal, because it's in the ear. It's in the ear. Okay, very good. Excellent. The carotid canal passes through this bone. I would never ask this question. Never. Okay, the answer is temporal bone also. That's not important. This bone forms part of the nasal septum. Interesting.
Hey.
Ethmoid.
Ethmoid. Ethmoid. Okay? Ethmoid.
What's A? The sphenoid. What is that?
The sphenoid bone is the keystone bone. The keystone bone of the skull. It's deep inside. It has nothing to do with the nose. Okay?
Oh, okay. So it's
All
a
right.
facial.
Oh, no. The sphenoid bone is not a facial bone. It is a skull bone. A skull
okay.
bone. All right? Okay?
Yep.
It's a very important bone. Okay? Not only is it a keystone bone, it holds all the bones together, but it also houses the pituitary gland.
Is that the bat?
Say it again.
Is that the bat? The hint is the bat shaped. That's what it's sphenoid.
Yes, it is. It's the bat-shaped bone that holds in the pituitary gland, in the sella turcica. All right? Very important bone of the skull, not the nose. Which of the following is not a facial bone? Hello.
The hyoid.
Hyoid.
Correct. The hyoid bone. Why is the hyoid bone so important?
Um,
2 reasons.
when you swallow it.
It has something to do with your speech.
For speech.
It
And
does.
swallowing.
It does. It does. But it also is the only bone that doesn't connect with any other bone. And remember, I talked about if you want to strangle somebody, you break their hyoid bone. That's how we know you strangled somebody. Okay? That bone breaks because it's right in front of your trachea. This facial bone helps to form the septum of the nose.
Is it the
Black-
bone?
Say it louder.
A.
Somebody
it
was
vomer?
saying it. It's
Vomer?
vomer. Vomer. That's it. That's it. This facial bone helps form the hard palate.
Maxilla.
Maxilla. Good. You won't know this. When a dentist injects lidocaine into your lower jaw, he actually injects the lidocaine into your mandibular foramen. You don't need to know that, but you need to know that the lower jaw is the mandible. That's how you can figure it out, but I would not ask this question. All right. What nasal concha is a facial bone? Wow. Wow. You won't know it. The answer is inferior. This vertebrae has no body because it holds the head up.
Atlas.
Atlas?
Bingo. C1. This is C1. Okay. C1. All right. Good. What type of rib does not connect to the sternum?
Floating.
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 Rib.
Floating rib. Very good. The superior part of the sternum is
Manubrium.
manubrium. That is correct. Manubrium. If you see oh God, I don't think you would know this answer. If you see a foramen in the transverse process of a vertebrae, which type of vertebrae are you observing? It's not important. The answer is cervical. That's not important. Here are your choice. Let's go back. Let's go back. Well, here we go. Which is the smallest vertebrae here?
Cervical.
Cervical. Which is the largest?
Lumbar.
Which is the one that is connected to ribs?
Thoracic.
There you go. All right, good. Nah, I would never ask this question either. It's not important. Not important. The pectoral girdle is composed of
B.
B, clavicle and scapula. All right. The radial groove is located in which bone? I would never ask this question. The answer is humerus. The glenoid cavity is part of which bone?
Scapula.
Scapula. You are correct. Children are often told to keep this process off the table while eating.
C.
Celery.
Olecranon. Okay, that's your elbow. All right, there you go. Of which bone is the head found at the distal end? Don't worry about it. I won't ask this question, and that's the ulna. Which bone is not part of the pelvic girdle?
Sacrum.
Sacrum.
Sacrum. Sacrum. Good. The lesser trochanter is found on which bone?
The femur.
Femur.
The femur. Femur. Yep, femur. Good, good. You guys are pretty good. The heel bone is called
C. Calcaneus.
C.
C. Calcaneus. It's the calcaneus. You are correct.
I have a question. What's the hallux then?
The hallux is the big toe.
The big toe? Oh, okay.
All right, got it?
Yeah.
What's the pollex?
The little, s-
The big thumb.
the,
The big thumb. You're right. The thumb, right. The lateral malleolus is part of which bone?
Fibula.
Fibula. All right. Which tarsal bone is the keystone of the medial longitudinal arch? I don't care if you know the answer, but the answer is talus. We didn't talk about arches. It's not important. Which of the following bones does not directly articulate with any other bones of the skeleton?
Ohio.
Hyoid. Boom. Okay. And that is a review of all three chapters. Are there any questions on anything? Okay, let me stop. Let me get off recording here.